Welcome back, NC teachers, to ECI 475 in the week of February 5th through the 11th. I appreciate your forum posts and your comments on student learning and grit. Remind me of a quote by Zig Ziglar, an old motivational speaker who always said, failure is an event and not a person. And I know that from your discussion that you will be reminding students of that um, as they meet the challenges of the work in each of your content areas. And this week we're going to take a look at how CFAs, Common Formative Assessments, can help us keep students on course and help keep them mastering the material. This week you will be reading Chapter 1 of How Learning Works, 7 Research-Based Principles for Smart Teaching. If you don't have the book yet, we did locate a PDF and have posted it. Don't know how long that PDF will stay online, so make sure you read Chapter 1. You're reading Chapter 1 and Chapter 5 out of the book. Chapter 5 is due in a couple of weeks, the week of February 19th. So concentrate on Chapter 1. It's an excellent chapter. It talks about research strategies and it talks about assessing prior knowledge and makes some interesting points about how we must help students connect their prior knowledge to what we are teaching them. They often have the prior knowledge, but until we make that connection, there are times when they won't realize what they have. So back to your discussion and your PLC administration, I want to make sure that you understand that your PLCs should have formed CFAs, sorry, I'm having a little problem with my acronyms here, Common Formative Assessments, that will allow you to discuss strengths, weaknesses, patterns, and remediation strategies among your students. What I'm saying is, what we're expecting in those CFAs is that students will get some of the questions wrong. But the last thing you want is, for purposes of your study, is for all students to have all the questions answered correctly. You want to see where the student, and you'll see this when you read Chapter 1, you want to see where students aren't making the connections. So the CFAs are in no way a judgment of the teachers that are administering them. Instead, the CFAs are meant as a tool for us to use to think about ways to help improve student performance. So look at it like that. Please consider it that way, and please make sure that you have asked a variety of levels of Bloom's taxonomy in your questions so that your report, your final report, which is due on February 26, will include ways for you to propose for students to meet those higher goals, because all students won't be there yet, but we can help them get there, as you found in your discussions last week. So I do look forward to seeing the results and actually seeing what you do with the results of those tests. There's some great information in this Chapter 1 of How Learning Works, some great points that are made, and of course this is all research-based practices. If you're in the classroom, you're doing action research in your classroom, and you know some of these answers and some of them we don't. And so make sure you read the chapter and answer the quiz. Let's take a look together again at that Common Formative Assessment rubric. Okay, it's right here. There should be a good link to it, and I should be able to move it over. Yeah, one more. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Again, you're going to post the assessment that you've given on Moodle, and then next week you'll be conducting a small group discussion regarding the results of the assessment. Okay, and that's a minimum of 3 posts by each group member. The following week, and that's what's finally due with this rubric, is you will be posting your results to the rest of the class using a visual aid. PowerPoint, Google Slides are recommended, either one or the other. You can also do a screencast, which is the way I present to you every week, and discuss the data if you'd like. Screencasts are fairly easy to use, and I'll put a link for those up there under the week the assessment is due. And in your data, make sure you show how many students were assessed, um, how the assessment connects to the learning objectives, and of course that goes without saying that you're going to talk about which course the assessment is covering and the type of students you're covering, what it shows that they know and what it shows that they don't know. And assuming, if the assessment could show that they're not understanding something at a very low level at knowledge and comprehension, but certainly there will be some students who are struggling at the higher levels of Bloom's. And what are some of your reteaching suggestions to help the students learn it? That's in your final assessment, and this is what's due on February 26th. And then we'll all as a class have a discussion on the various assessments and the presentations. So I know some of you are some of you are taking this a step at a time, which I encourage you to do. This is pretty heavy stuff, especially when we're looking at bringing students to the highest levels of understanding that we can bring them to. So this week, make sure you have a solid assessment and that it's given to a good number of students, as many as possible, and that you are getting ready to have your group discussions next week, following week, the week of February 12th. Those discussion boards are already published. So once you're ready, you can go to that, and I look for as deep of discussions on your own data as that you've had on the articles that you've read, and then that'll be followed up with preparing your project and presenting it to the rest of your class, and that will be presented here, and everyone will have a discussion on everyone's data. And although data doesn't sound exciting, I think after reading how learning works and discussing the various assessments in your own PLCs, you'll get kind of excited about it, and you'll get excited about the ways that you will find to help students who struggle with different levels of learning. As always, continue to do good work. Send me any questions that you have, and I will talk to you soon.